What's up, guys? So today I was going to show you how to replace the door speaker on your Honda Acty. But before we get into that, I think I don't want to say I did. Someone brought this up to me. His name is Alex. He was like, hey, why don't you call the Acty guys Actitos? I like ducks, and patito in Spanish is duck, and actitos. What's up, Actitos? So I think instead of Sambarian and Actarian, that just sounds kind of weird. I think Actito sounds kind of cool, like a mix. I love ducks. I love K cars. Actito. What's up, Actito? Yo, Actito. What's up? It's kind of like Vato, but Actito. So anyways, thank you, Alex, for the suggestion. So I think we're gonna go with Actitos. So what's up, fellow Actitos? Today, I'm gonna show you how to replace the door speaker on your Honda Acty. So if you don't know this already, I didn't know until I started doing more research on it. Obviously, your right door does not have a speaker in it, which, I mean, I already knew that. Most of the K cars don't have right door speakers. It's weird. Or right side speakers. They only have one left speaker. So the Acty and the Sandbars are perfect examples. I don't know anything about the other ones. I just know Actys and Sandbars for sure do not have right side speakers. So I went to install a door speaker on my Acty. Now, you can't just throw in a speaker, it's a 4-inch speaker. You can't just throw a 4-inch speaker in the door and call it good. There's a couple things. So you can either it's like a speaker housing. It basically, the speaker, the 4-inch speaker sits inside this like little plastic housing. And what it does is it spaces the speaker up off of the door, you know, a ½ an inch, so you can roll the window down, because you can't just put the speaker right up against the door panel. Otherwise you won't be able to roll down your window. So I know there's some guys out there that make 3D printed speaker like brackets that space it out, but I went on to Yahoo Auctions and found a OEM speaker housing for the right side, so I could put the speaker in and have OEM style. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the 3D printed stuff, but I wanted to stick with the factory style speaker mount. So I didn't really show, obviously I didn't show how to do that. I just went ahead and did it. I wasn't in the mood to film anything yesterday, but today I'm in the mood to film the passenger side. I'm in the mood to film the passenger side and show you the speaker that I bought that worked with the factory housing, because it is a very tight spot. So you need a speaker that isn't very deep or has a big magnet, because there are some 4-inch speakers out there that are super fancy and have really big rear magnets, and these require little small magnets. Or you could essentially just trim out the back piece of that mounting bracket, so then the magnet fits in it, okay? Or just go with that 3D printed spacer. Essentially, you can do that. But I'll show you kind of what I did on the driver's side, and then I'm going to actually do it on the passenger side, which there's already a speaker there, but I'm going to replace it so it matches the driver's side speaker, so we get the same sound quality, which it's probably not going to be the best sound quality because they weren't very expensive speakers. But I'm also not bumping and jamming in this thing either. I just want some tunes, so I'm not just listening to my loud engine in the back. But let's take a look at what I did. Okay, so I made a short yesterday on how to remove this thing, because there's a clip in there, and my clip, the U part, was at the bottom, so you couldn't get a pick in here to pull the thing out. So I found a piece of plastic. So if you're having trouble removing this, I made a YouTube short on how to do it with a piece of plastic, and it worked great, because again, I could not do it the normal way. So anyways, let's see, you can't, there you go, there's the speaker in there. Let's see if we can shine a light. So you can kind of see that black part right there. That's the edge of the OEM black speaker holder, if you will. There's my new speaker in there. It's kind of fancy looking, but I don't think it's gonna be very fancy, but it'll do the job. So what you're gonna have to do is then run your wire out through the factory or the little plugs. So I drilled a little hole in the plug, got some wire loom, fed the wire loom through the hole so it was a tight fit so this won't go anywhere. Ran the speaker wire through there, drilled a hole into that one, ran the speaker up in speaker wire through that. And then what I did was, you can see it right there. So up there somewhere, there's a small little pocket that allows wire to come out. There's a small pocket up there that you can feed. I fished the wire up through there with like a metal coat hanger, fed it up through there. That thing's all rusty because I think the brake fluid was leaking on it. I think the cap is leaking, so I gotta get a new cap or something, or it's overfilled so it was leaking out, which is a bummer. But anyways, I fed the wire up with a coat hanger, which was a pain in the butt. You can take your light vent off and get more space up there with your hand. Fed up there, then pulled the wire back down, and then I ran it back behind here, ran it back behind the carpet, and then essentially ran it all the way along the firewall, or the front of the car, if you will, over there, and it's just hanging out right there behind the carpet. So that is where I'm going to then feed the wire up to the new radio. And since the radios don't have a wiring harness for a right driver's side speaker, we're just going to have to splice that in ourselves to the new wiring harness with the radio, whatever radio I decide to get. When I figure out which radio I want to get for this thing. I haven't decided on that yet, because right now we got this like half din radio. Kind of funky. I've never seen this before, but very skinny little, I don't think it's even FM. I think it's just an AM radio, or I don't know. It doesn't work. I get a lot of garble and the numbers are all jacked up, which I should probably try that barbecue lighter electricity trick. If you've seen a lot of Russian videos with the guys zapping those things with the little igniter, the electric zappers in your barbecue lighters and such. We used to take the lighters apart and zap each other with them when we were in elementary school because it was fun. But if you zap the radio face when the numbers are all wonky like that, it fixes them. It's like it gives it a jump start back to life. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I did on the driver's side. You saw how I ran it, and these are the speakers. Not very expensive, off of Amazon, and I'll tell you why I bought them. Because A, they were cheap, and 2, they were small. There's the magnet, a very, very small speaker. Probably don't want to run these if you're gonna do some fancy bump and sound system, but see how small the magnet is? It fits perfect right in the little pocket that the stock speaker essentially would mount into. So that's on that one is on the driver's side. Hopefully they sound okay. I haven't even tested it because I haven't plugged it into anything, but we're gonna match the passenger side and hook it up on this door. So I'll show you how to take the panel off and all that stuff, and I'll solder the new wires, or the existing wires, to that one. I think I'll solder them unless that one's clipped. But yeah, I got my solder chingus ready, and yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so first we're gonna start with the window crank. So the situation I'm having, which doesn't, I don't know, other videos I've seen, there's a, you can't really, there's a little, if you look at your door window crank, there's a slot at the top, and obviously some kind of tool is supposed to go in there and release the pin. Watching another video, the pin that's in there has a looped end at the top, so you could get a pick in there with a hooked end pick and pull the clip out. Well, my looped end is down here, so all I'm seeing are the two prongs. I'll show you when I pull it out. I'm only seeing the two prongs at the top. So I'm thinking there's some tool that you could slide in there, and then it pushes the two prongs apart and then slides it down, but obviously I don't have that tool, some kind of specialty tool. So I have some thick plastic that I'm going to show you. I made a little YouTube short on it yesterday, but I can show you how to do it. So you slide it down in the crack on both sides, and then just kind of work it back and forth until you get that pin, until it catches the pin. Oh, there's the pin right there. Okay, so you can see the pin poking out a little bit at the bottom there, so just takes a little finagling. Take your time. And then there we go. So that's what I'm talking about. That thing's at the bottom. I've seen videos where it's at the top. You can get your pick in there, essentially, and then pull the pin up and unhook it, but mine has been like this on both sides. So now that you have that undone, this will just slide off like so. So we'll set this aside. You don't want to lose that clip. Now, let's take the rest of the door panel off now. Try to do this so I'm not all up in your business. Okay, let's see if I can do this without blocking too much. So I have a plastic trim tool piece, so you can pop these guys out without jacking anything up. It is just rubber, so it should just kind of slide in there. Again, being careful. Or maybe this is just a van thing, I'm not sure. This might just be a van thing. But anyways, there's Phillip heads in here. We're gonna see the inside of this door for the first time. I'm pretty sure this door panel has never been removed. Oh yeah, this thing has never been pulled off. Why should it? This thing's only got 4,000 kilometers on it. Okay, so then we have three more Phillips. One up here, two up here in the front. And what's nice about the factory, it has a wire routing little plug, so the wire routes through that. So I'm sure you could probably just buy one of these for the passenger side and use it on the driver's side. If you got yourself one of those, maybe Honda still makes those. You could find that part number. Okay, so the door handle. Open the door handle so you can get in there. And try to keep the screws all kind of separated because they're all different. That guy just slides off. It's got like a hook in it, so you gotta slide it back and then out. Okay, we don't have to remove the handle itself. Now we need to go underneath the door. Let's see. So there's a couple spots under the door. When you look down here, that's open. Here's one. And so you're gonna want to get your trim piece tool in there and pry out. These are very old and brittle. So you really want to get underneath the underneath the things and then pry out. That sounded like something broke. Okay, so I think there's another one up here. There's another one just kind of below that little hole right there. Get that one out. There's one. Looks like there's one right here. Ay, caramba. And it's really weird. There's this white sticky paste inside that I don't think ever really cured, and it's almost like white grease, but it's very sticky. That's like lining the inside of this thing. It's really bizarre, and it's like it gets all over the place. Okay, so now you should be able to just now the seal's kind of stuck on the door, so you kind of really have to lift it up. Being careful. You gotta kind of pull out and lift up at the same time. Alright. There's one little foamy. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever pulled this off. I think it's the first time anybody's ever probably pulled this off. No hidden goodies or anything, but unfortunately these clips are super old. This one's broken, but it's close to the top, so the top will actually... I'm listening to my little patitos. We got a bunch of little baby patitos, and I have them outside today so they can play in the sun and the water. So this is the only one that looks like broke, so that's good. Towards the top, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so we'll set this aside. Now I'll show you what I'm talking about on the speaker. Okay, so like I was saying, there's a like a bracket that Honda makes that holds the speaker up off of the door panel so the window can roll down. So like I said, I bought this black speaker mount housing bracket in Yahoo auctions, and here's the factory speaker. I mean, it's not in bad shape or anything, but again, I'm just gonna put the speaker that matches the other side so we get the same sound quality. Very interesting. It's like a cardboard tube ring around it. So anyways, yeah, we'll take that speaker out and then we'll put mine in, solder it if we have to, or maybe it just plugs in. We'll find out. Let's start with removing the Phillip head biker, Phillip head screws. So to mount this thing to here, it's not, what's up? There isn't threaded holes on the door. There's little probably plastic metal, the metal clips that these screws go into. I did not get those on the other side when I bought this thing. So I think I did something illegal in the car world, but I found some Subaru ones that I used for the front fog light on the front bumpers. They're brand new. Same thing as the metal ones, they're just plastic and a little bit nicer. So I used those on the driver's side, so it worked out perfect. You'll see it's like the nut clips or whatever the heck they are. I didn't get them, and yeah, I could have gone to Home Depot and bought some, I'm sure, but I had the Subaru ones still that were brand new, and I figured I probably wasn't gonna use them, so they ended up working perfect. Oh, I take that back. There's some kind of plastic. Okay, so there's some kind of plastic pieces that these things screw into, and it wasn't metal like I was thinking. But anyways, my design worked, or my thing worked out just fine. Okay, so these speakers are just clipped in. So I think that's all we're gonna do is just clip in the new speakers. If it'll work. I'm guessing the black and gray one is probably negative. Yes, sir. Black and gray is negative. Negative, sir. Affirmative, whatever. So let's get the stock speaker out of there. We'll save these for fun because they are probably pretty much brand new. So this is what I'm talking about. You got to get a magnet that fits inside this guy. I mean, essentially you could just cut this backing off and then get a big old fat magnet in there if you wanted to, but again, I just was trying to stay OEM, stay boring. Wow, that's a really small magnet, very small. So there you go. That's what you're looking for in auctions if you're gonna put in a speaker, or people make a 3D printed version without the back. So you could get a fatty magnet in there. But these are kind of cool. 4 ohm, 5 watt, 5 watt. 5 watt, that's like nothing. These are probably good enough to run, I don't even know, nothing. I think these are 60 watt. These are what watt are these ones? So magnet about the same depth. Yeah, so these fit perfect. What watt are these? Yeah. These are 60 watt, which I should probably get an amplifier to make them sound good, but we'll just, and we had plenty of room underneath one of the seats, both of the seats. We don't have air conditioning in here, so if you have an Acty, you got about a mile of empty space underneath the seats, at least on the vans. It's wild how much space is on the vans. Okay, so now that we got that, I'm actually just, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother soldering these things. I'm just gonna plug them in. Let's see if we can just squeeze that connection down so I get a really tight fit. Because that would be nice. I'm lazy and I don't want to have to solder this thing. Do that to both sides. Give it a squeezer. Okay, let's see. Carefully. That's really tight now. Okay. Okay, that's pretty tight. I squeezed those ends together. Well, hopefully that holds. If not, it's not like we don't know how to take the door apart. Okay, so those are all good still. Those are all good still. Now let's screw the speaker back in, and we'll give it a test before we put it all back together. I think the speaker's good for the mid-range or something. I don't know, man. I've been out of the speaker business for a long time. But, I mean, this one doesn't have a tweeter either, so can't be that bad. All right, let's see what she sounds like. If she makes some crackling noises anyways. Well, we got some crackling noises, and Fuel pump's clicking. I didn't turn it off all the way. Okay, so there you go. That's how you replace your door speaker. I bought those if you want something similar because they fit right in these things without any problems or modifying because of the small magneto. I got these guys off of Amazon, very cheap. I think they were like 30 bucks or something, and that'll give me a little more spending for a deck because I want to put a nice deck in this van because this van's worth putting a fancy deck in and not some cheap deck. I'm kind of thinking something like a 90s, not 90s, but early 2000s, late 90s, like an Alpine or maybe even Sony Explode, because Sony Explode was like red, so it would match the whole red Honda theme or something. But I'm gonna kind of do some searching to see if I can find anything cool to go with the vibe, and then maybe do like I said, an amp, maybe like a Sony Explode amp underneath the seats, so we can get some good back speakers in this thing and have it sound okay. But yeah, I'm gonna put everything back together real quickly, maybe in time lapse since you already saw me do it. But that's what it looks like when you take the speaker out. And so like I was saying, on the driver's side, when I ran my own, I ran the speaker wire through the little plug, drilled a hole in the plug, wire loomed it, and ran it up through the other side, and then fished it through with like a coat hanger, and then ran it to the center, so when I get my deck, I can then plug it into the deck, since these do not have a wiring harness for a driver's side speaker. At least this version of Honda doesn't. Maybe a Honda Street has it, like a fancier version, or Raccoon, or whatever the nicer ones are. But yeah, let's put it all back together now. Okay, so I just wanted to make a suggestion before you go ahead and put your window crank back on. If you roll the window down, it's a lot easier to get this upper lip back on the top of the door piece to slide down. Yeah, roll your window down, it's a lot easier. So let me give you a little tip. For me, anyways, I think this is gonna help out. So if you ever have to remove your door panel again, I think this is going to make a world of difference. So again, here's that clip. So see, there's that pocket up here, right? If you put this clip on with the loop end up top in that pocket, if you ever have to take, if you ever have to take this off again, I don't have my pick with me, but you can take a hooked pick, go in through that little spot right there on the top, and pull on the clip and pull the clip up, instead of taking a piece of plastic and trying to finagle this thing out, hitting, because you basically have to hit these two ends at the same time to pull the clip down with a piece of plastic or whatever. But this way, if this is up top, when you go to remove it again in the future, you can use a hook. So just keep that in mind if you're going to redo this. If you're thinking of pulling, you're going to have to pull the door panel off again, put that clip back up on the hooped end on the upper part of the thing, the crank. And here's another thing for your OCD people. I roll my window all the way up, and the other side, when it's rolled all the way up, my door crank is about right there. So I want them to match. I don't want one side to be all the way up and the crank handle to be here. I want them to look the same because I'm OCD. So that side, I'm just gonna double check it, but I'm pretty sure it's about at that position right there, like 1 o'clock maybe. And for all you visual folk, so it's about 1 o'clock on that side. Actually, that would be 11 o'clock on the opposite side. And on this side, it's about 1 o'clock-ish. So that's how we're gonna put it back on so it matches the other side. So I'm gonna put my clip so the hooped end is up on top. So again, you do what you want, but I'm gonna do it this way because I'm sure I'm probably gonna have to take the door panel off again at some point, and I don't wanna be wrestling that dumb thing again. So let's put the hooped end on the top part. Just makes sense. Get our 1 o'clock position again. There you go. Slide it back on, and then that sucker's stuck on there. So yeah, that was it. Super easy to replace the speakers. Again, the driver's side, a little different. You gotta have to run your own speaker wire. I ran this Dynex stuff. I think this is more for home stuff. Yeah, this is probably more for home speakers, but it's 18 gauge and it's perfect. It's gonna work good, and it looks better than running a couple janky wires. But yeah, picked up the speaker mounting housing off of Yahoo Auctions. I'll probably look for some more on Yahoo Auctions and order them and put them up in the store, or guys are selling them on Etsy, the little 3D printed spacers. And trying to think if there was anything else, but I think that was pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that's helpful. And we're almost at 1,000 subs, which is freaking radical. Super excited. I got a header coming and an exhaust for the midget and some fun exhaust tips for the midget. So we'll kind of do a celebratory 1,000 subscribers video with the midget, with the exhaust and getting all silly with that thing. So super pumped. Thank you guys for the support. Really appreciate it. I really truly appreciate it. And buying stuff from my website, which is way better than buying things off of eBay. But if you got to buy stuff off of eBay, it is what it is. But if you can, please try to go to my website. If I have something on eBay that's not on the website, tell me. I'll put it on the website. eBay has killer fees and it sucks, but again, it is what it is. So if you can, tell me to put it on the website, buy it from the website. Helps me out a ton. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.